can you share some of the things that your son was saying to you to kind of really paint the picture of this was bad?
And as a mom, I still have some protections for him to a certain degree, right? However, some of the things he said is like, my older son is gay. He came out as gay at 14 years old. That's a whole different topic. He's an amazing man. He is a singer, songwriter, producer. He travels around the world and performs. He performs for celebrity artists, et cetera, et cetera. He blamed me for that. You're the reason why he's gay because you had dudes tricking off on him. And then it made me question, did I put my son in harm's way? Only for my older son to be like, Mom, don't even listen to him. Don't even listen to him. That's not the situation. And then we'll have a conversation about that, right? Because again, that's a whole different topic. He's called me a whore. He's called me a bitch. He said, fuck you. Everything that he could possibly say, he has said it. Um I mean, there's so much. There's so much to the point where I started recording him because if he called me and I would correct him, because one thing about me as a mom, if you're wrong, I'm going to tell you you're wrong. I don't take sides. He has a son who's 8 years old, so I am a nana. He's an amazing kid, but that's because my son is not in his life. But when he and his mother were together, her family ran up in my home to jump him into my beautiful home to jump my son because he and her were in here fighting because we let them come and stay in our home after they had the baby and they were here.
And after all of that,
Still, again, I cannot even give you the chronological order in so much. And this has been since his dad and I got divorced. We've been divorced for 20 plus years. He's married, I'm married, 18 years. I've moved on. I'm assuming his dad has as well. But ever since his father and I got divorced, and I know how divorce is impactful to children because I am a product of divorce. However, I don't believe that gives you a pass because you don't know how to process those emotions to disrespect your parents.
hoping part of this conversation really kind of lays groundwork that for all of your thousands and thousands of comments that will come in forever, hopefully at you hopefully at some point you just like, hey, look at this episode, this is this is what I've been going through. So this, yeah, I know, I'm just trying, Kendall. I'm just
I know. I mean, because we're logical, right? We're logical people, and we think with logic and not emotions. But people don't think like that. So yeah, you would hope.
what I think that's happening. I think that people are taking your words and putting it into their situations and saying, yeah, and saying that's literally projection, and saying that, man, I would never do that. But what they're thinking about their daughter who won't bring their shoes in from the garage, or their daughter who like don't walk the dog, or their son who may have snuck a girl into his bedroom or something like that. And they're like, oh man, yeah, I would never give up on my kid. And I'm not saying that you're giving up on your kid, but like you said in the last episode, you're choosing you're choosing distance over disrespect. And what you just said is, I don't know another person who would tolerate that for that long in any other scenario, in any other human relationship other than parenthood. Okay, I got another question. Uh, Other than motherhood, oh yeah, you don't like, you hate us dads. We
Let's be clear. Don't put that out there because I don't want
you're right, you're right. You
to hate dads. What I'm saying is dads have a different emotional connection to their children.
say the chemical imbalance part again.
There's a chemical imbalance with mothers, and they can argue amongst themselves that will allow them to tolerate. I tolerated this for 20 years. If this were a stranger or anyone that was not my child, do you honestly think I would have tolerated that? So I went from that same type of abuse with his dad, hence why we got divorced, and only to get in an abusive relationship with my son for 20 years. Still, he still reaches out to me from different phone numbers and emails. His latest accusation was me stealing property from his family on his paternal side that I had no access to whatsoever. He sent a copy of the deed, and the deed is to a property, my first property that I bought on my own.
Wait, he being your son or your ex-husband?
Younger son. My ex-husband and I don't speak. The last conversation we had was around my son having an accident in 2022 and me telling him to show up for his son, and he never showed up. That's the last conversation we had.
Kendall, let me ask you real quick before I ask my next question. How's your relationship with your grandchild?
Amazing. Now that she's not with my son, but when she was with my son, I was drawn into all the drama. And guess who financially supports him? Me and my husband.
Okay. Um, did you ever feel like that you failed as a mom?
Yes.
What at what point at what point in this was that feeling, and how did you work through that?
When he started, the verbal stuff was what's happening, the disrespectful stuff here and there, his anger, his outbursts. But I felt like I failed as a mom when he started getting into legal trouble. And I have been warning him because I could see the signs and maybe I manifested it, right? But I have been warning him, son, don't do XYZ, or stay away from this, or this person's not your friend, or this is how you need to move as a black man. Both of them. And when he started getting into legal trouble, I remember the first call I received from him saying he was getting arrested. And I fell on my knees and literally lost it emotionally. And I remember saying to my husband, "Where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong?" And my husband said, "I don't ever want to hear you say that again." Because he's been present in my son's lives longer than their biological dads. And he's been a great role model. But my husband is professional. He's very respectful of me. He honors me. He treats me amazing. He treated the boys amazing as well. But that younger one, he has this he never really had that respect that he deserved for him always showing up for him. Far more than his dad.
Younger son still like revere his dad as like that's the guy in his life.
I don't know what their relationship dynamic is. I don't think he has any respect for him either. Like, I think at some point he started being very disrespectful. Because I remember my husband calling his dad, like, hey, your son's starting to get into trouble. He really needs you. He needs you to be present. Like, you may want to get on a flight, come here and spend time with him or whatever. And my ex husband told my husband, that's y'all's problem. And that's why I get furious when men get in the comments and demonize me or demonize other single moms and never hold the dads responsible for anything.
Got you. Got you. Um, so I hope that gives a little bit of context to where you're coming from and why you're doing what you're doing and who you're speaking to. You're not speaking to, and I feel like that I have to beat this dead horse. You're not speaking to the 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 parent the parent child dynamic of the child is just kind of pursuing life and may don't check in as much as they could. You're not speaking to that person. Uh and that person, if they're chiming in on your tribe, they're they're not in the right tribe. Yeah.
Blank. They shouldn't. You're on the wrong algorithm.
You found the wrong person. You the wrong you found the wrong parenting hashtag. This is not your struggle, and we pray that it never will be.
Pray that it never will. And then if you are trying to come in my comments as an estranged person just because your child isn't checking in with you all the time anymore, you're actually codependent. Your adult child doesn't need to check in with you every single day.
About that, what? Okay.
Yeah, you heard what I said. Codependent. Some moms are codependent. So they want to come in the estrangement tribe because they used to talk to their kid every single day. That kid's gotten married, and now I don't hear from them, so now I'm estranged. No, you don't hear from them because they've moved on and they are living their lives as they should because their partner, whether it be a wife or a husband or whomever, that is their main focus. And I think some moms are also codependent. So you're not estranged, you're codependent because you expect for that same child to give you that same attention as frequently as they did before. And they deserve to live their lives. I'm not that mom. In fact, I mind my business.
I'm gonna put let me see if I can remember this. 22 minutes in, I'm gonna put it's over my left shoulder. I always remember that. I'm gonna put the episode tag for watch our last episode, our last conversation. Kendall breaks that down beautifully. I'm not gonna relitigate that. It's right there in the last episode. I want to spend the next half of our conversation. You have a book. You have so I'm talking to an author, ladies and gentlemen. Author Kendall Lachey Williams, Reclaiming Your Identity, A Mom's Guide to Empowerment, Boundaries, and Peace Amid Estrangement. Kendall, first of all, congratulations on doing something that most people don't. And you being a black woman, a black entrepreneur, a black parent, a voice, a leading voice in this desperately needed space. Congratulations to that. Let me say that. Um, I know you sell books. After they watch this, that you'll sell a lot more. But if you don't sell one more book, that's a achievement of a lifetime. And every time every time you get congratulated on it, you more than deserve it. So congratulations.
So much. Thank you. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about what your book is, and we know who's it for, but without giving the message because we're gonna buy it. But tell us what's the soul of it.
Soul of reclaiming your identity is for moms to and dads because let me tell you something. I have some dad followers too. They sneak in the comments here and there. They get on the lives and they come in my DMs and they're not trying to be weird either. They really are legitimately on this journey. But again, men handle things differently. But reclaiming your identity, I wrote that book for moms to find their value again that wasn't so tied and wrapped up into motherhood. And when I said reclaiming your identity, meaning who were you before you became a mom? Because women are so tied up, their value, their entire lives are, and their entire identities are solely wrapped up into being a mom. I'm not just a mom to my 29-year-old and 34-year-old, although I forgot who that girl was because I was so focused on being their mother. I forgot who Kendall was. But Kendall is the mom who was a teenage mom and then got 2 degrees, being married, a mother, working in corporate America. Kendall is an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for many, many years. Kendall is a leader in the corporate space. Kendall is me, big K, not little K. You know what I'm saying? And my identity, I didn't start discovering or even getting to focus on who I was as an individual until maybe, I want to say 3 to 5 years ago because everything has been wrapped up into my children. And don't get me wrong, I still love my sons, but as a mom, I get to focus on me. the same way they get to focus on themselves. So that's why I wrote Reclaiming Your Identity. There are several chapters in there that will help moms. It's not this long book because I'm not long winded. I'm straight to the point, as you know. It is a guide for you to rethink or shift your perspective as it relates to dealing with this estrangement, what you're going to tolerate as far as setting boundaries, because you have a right to set boundaries. Everyone feels like the moment a mom decides to set a boundary, she becomes the villain in everybody's story. Yet people can set their boundaries. People can do whatever they want to do. And when I say people, they're adult kids and their children. Her sole focus has to be on them. And the moment that that shifts, she's now the villain. It also talks about how sometimes when these women are dealing with estrangement or dealing with a child where there's a contentious relationship and they have other children, they are so focused on that child in which they have that contention with, they lose focus of that other child. I did that. And I had to be accountable for that. And I had to apologize and ask for my older son's forgiveness because he didn't give me any problems growing up. And his thing was, Mom, you were going through so much with him. I didn't want to add that to your plate. And I've always told my sons to be very authentic. So he felt like he had to put on this facade of perfection. And I had to ask for his forgiveness for putting him in that position. And it doesn't mean that you don't love both of your children. It's just that one has your attention because they're always causing some type of drama or trauma. So there's different things in that book that will speak to different places in people's lives, but the sole purpose is for moms to reclaim their identity outside of just being someone's mother.